Hey everyone, Dan Mortimer with eXp Realty bringing you another weekly market update. A little bit delayed this week. I didn't get my usual numbers that I get from my representative at my title company. So I appreciate you guys being a little bit patient with me. But let's go ahead and dive into the numbers. Let's see what's going on in the last 7 days and see what's going on in our market. Very interesting couple of weeks that we've had. It feels like as we've gotten into June, things have maybe started to pick up a little bit more. Some of that may be tied to the school year ending and some of those buyers that were kind of sitting on the sidelines pushing things as much as possible are now getting to that point where they're saying, all right, enough is enough, we got to get settled. We have gotten some good news on interest rates in the last week or so. Hasn't been a big decline, but little by little they've been coming down. Hopefully that trend continues, because really and truly, I mean, we are into more of a buyer's market now. But interest rates going down is good for buyers and sellers, because a lot of sellers in this market are also buyers. So there's a lot of pent up demand in Las Vegas, a lot of people wanting to move, wanting to get into a new spot, that have just been waiting for conditions to improve and something to give. So we're seeing it a little bit on the price side, but we're also hopefully starting to see that trend on the interest rate side as well. So let's go ahead and dive into the data though. That was a little bit of a preamble, I guess, for the stats. So in the last 7 days, we had 1,093 new listings hit the market. We had 196 homes that came back on the market. That number has been increasing, and it's been a bit of a concern in a volatile market like this where buyers have a lot of choices. We often see homes go under contract, and then for whatever reason the deal falls apart. Buyer doesn't like the loan rate terms. Maybe there are too many issues with the home. Something else pops up in a more desirable area, or better terms, better price, better features, whatever that may be. So 196 properties went back on the market in the last 7 days. We had 1,165 homes that had a price decrease. For those of you that are relatively new to this channel, it could be a dollar drop, it could be $100, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, anywhere in between, but 1,165 price decreases on active listings. Now, getting into the under contracts, we had 319 properties that went into under contract show status, and another 418 that went into under contract no show status. So in total, that's 737 compared to 1,093 new listings. That gap has stayed pretty steady for the last, I would say the last several weeks for the most part. About 300 and change, in this case about 300 and almost 360 homes that are coming onto the market, not in that absorption of the under contracts. So again, inventory is growing, the gap is widening, buyers have more options in the current market. Getting into the solds, we had 530 homes in the last 7 days that were sold, and pretty good number. We also have 90 homes that are in coming soon status. That means that they're kind of in pre-market status right now on our local MLS, and they'll be active on the market in the next 30 days or less, usually quite a bit less. Coming soon, you don't usually want your property in coming soon status for very long, because it means it's not being actively marketed and syndicated to all third-party websites that most buyers are using to look for homes. So very interesting trend that we're seeing, kind of a continuation of what we've seen for the last several weeks here. But like I said, it feels like there are more buyers out in the market, more buyers starting to look at homes, and just getting into the market, not necessarily seeing that data in the under contracts or the anything like that, but it definitely feels like activity is starting to pick up. And again, some of that could be with the school year ending, kids are out of school, and some families that were maybe holding off until they saw things improve are now kind of coming up against that time frame of, hey, we got to get into our new place before the school year starts, end of July, beginning of August. So they're starting that process and getting the ball rolling. It'll be interesting to see what things look like as we get further into the summer months. Inventory, I think, is going to continue to climb. Buyers are definitely going to have choices open to them. It'll be interesting to see how many sellers are giving on price. I think sellers have, for the most part, been pretty flexible on price, terms, closing costs, things like that. But as we get into the later months and maybe we see more buyers come into the market, if that trend continues, if we see interest rates drop, it wouldn't surprise me if we see interest rates drop even just a little bit. You know, we get into the mid sixes or the low sixes or something like that, which I know we've got a long way to go before we get there. But if we get into that level, it wouldn't surprise me if we see a lot of buyers say, okay, this is it, let's jump in, let's do it. Because like I said, there's a lot of pent up demand in Las Vegas. A lot of people and a lot of investors are still buying in Las Vegas because there are still so many people coming in here. And even though things are a little bit slower right now, a lot of that is due to high prices and high interest rates. Buyers, I think, are okay with one of the two, generally speaking. Not every single buyer is this way, but they don't want to deal with both if they don't have to. So unless they're in a situation where they have to move, or you know, something is pushing them and they have a hard deadline that they're up against, a lot of them are content to sit back and wait, which is understandable. You know, in the past, people that sat and waited, they were basically just missing out on equity because the prices kept climbing, the interest rates were staying relatively low. Now the game has changed a little bit, with interest rates right now just under 7% for a conventional loan. Buyers that aren't against a hard deadline, they're content to wait, which is understandable. So it'll be interesting to see how things go. I know there's a lot of volatility and a lot of other things going on outside of the real estate market. It remains to be seen what type of impact that will have, if any. I would imagine it would have some, but anybody who tells you they know exactly what's going to happen is, well, they're either making something up or they're using something based on data and trends and things that they know, but really and truly nobody knows. We really don't know on this level how these external factors are going to affect mortgage rates, housing demand, things like that. What I can tell you is that people are still coming to Las Vegas in droves. We still have a lot of demand for housing. And as soon as we see some sort of break with interest rates, like I said, I don't think it's necessarily going to get back to 2021 levels where we're seeing, you know, 20, 30 offers on homes within a day of them hitting the market. But the demand is definitely going to pick up and we'll see the market balance out a little bit more. So I hope you guys got some value from this video. There are two ways that you can support this channel. First is I'll put a link in the description of this video where you could set up a one-on-one meeting with me just to discuss your real estate goals, whether you're thinking about buying or selling in 9 days, 90 days, even beyond that. I'd be more than happy to help. Just gives me a chance to get to know you a little bit better, learn about your situation, and see what I can do to help. There's no cost, no obligation, nothing like that. Just want to learn a little bit more about your situation, and I can tell you about what I can do for you. The second way that you can support this channel is the easiest. Just hit that subscribe button. You get notifications anytime I post new videos. I try to post a couple new videos a week. Some weeks it's just a weekly market update, and some weeks it's, you know, 3, 4, 5 videos depending on properties that I'm able to get into, and I can comfortably do a property walkthrough, news updates, monthly updates, different things like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you at the next one.